Yeah, the Big 12 blessed us with road games at Central Florida, in Austin, and in Provo against the number one team in the country. So we got our work cut out for us, but it's exciting. It's exciting how much better the Big 12 has gotten with all the new entries. And so it's going to be a really fun Big 12 season, and we can't wait to get started this Thursday against Houston.
Take me through that as well. I mean, a lot of people think about that, hitting like the bigger, like football and things like that, but it affects you guys as well. And you guys, hearing over this offseason, hey, we got 4 new additions this year.
Well, look, we know it's about the football alignment. We know that's the priority. We know that's why it was what it was. But at the same time, we get all these good teams coming into the soccer league. And although we lose a couple good teams, it's a net gain for us. A lot of really good teams coming to us. And it's thrilling to see how tough our league is going to be going forward. You need that for a bunch of reasons. And so, yeah, I mean, this is as exciting as it was when I first got here, when we had some other teams in our league. So this year is going to be huge, and then every year after that, because we get more teams after that coming in. So it's going to be a fun 2023 for sure in the Big 12.
You mentioned the non-conference and how good of a non-conference it was for you guys. I guess when it comes to that, heading into Big 12 play, you as a head coach, I guess what does the locker room speech like to wager that success and not get too ahead of ourselves?
Yeah, I think we just talk about we want to be playing as long as we can. And if you set your sights on the non-con, then that's all you're going to get out of it. If you set your sights on the Big 12, then you're setting your sights on something that ends, earlier in the year. You've got to look beyond all that. And then you've got basically your non-conference season as a separate entity, the Big 12 is a separate entity, and you've got to be good in both. And so, we don't get out too far over our skis on that. We're playing pretty well, which we're excited about. We're healthy, which we're excited about. Great senior leadership. Some girls are scoring goals, which is always amazing. And our defense is getting better every week. So those are the things we look at, and all those markers are in good shape. But as we found when we stepped up to play the 2 Pac-12 teams, there's a higher level of athleticism waiting for us in the Big 12. There's a higher level of technical ability. Thursday is against a team that's only lost one game. I mean, Jaime's done an amazing job at Houston. So we're not fooling ourselves. We know it's going to be a tough road, but we're thrilled that we're on it.
Beating Houston 3-0 last year, but what did you kind of learn from your team maybe against the Pac-12, not only facing a bigger conference like that, but also going on the road like that? I guess what did you kind of learn from your team as you head into Big 12 play now?
You got to win on the road in college soccer. You got to win on Sundays in college soccer. We did both of those. Certainly wish we'd have gotten a better result on Thursday. 1-1 draw was not unjust, but we felt like we left some things on the table. Arizona played really well. So we had to step up in all areas, and we know that was the step that needed to be taken before the Big 12 started, or else we find ourselves up against it in the Big 12. So we think we've adjusted in that manner, and the league has our full attention, so we're ready to go.
What have you kind of really liked about the firepower of the offensive side of this team? You mentioned the goals earlier. It seemed like, averaging nearly 3 goals a game now.
I think the balance is the most satisfying. When you have a player like Kirsten Davis, for example, our latest superstar forward, we could really put the game on her shoulders from time to time, and she would look after us and do what we need done. But we didn't always have the service that we have now. We didn't have the passing of a Sam Courtwright with Kylie, Elise, Lou, and Macy Blackburn, who's just exceptional on the right. Their passing is better than we've had in a while. And so I think the balance of being able to move the ball around pretty well, we're still young, but we're getting better every week in that regard, and being able to get down the field in multiple ways. And having 2 forwards that are both scoring and others off the bench that are scoring, that creates a balance it's hard to defend, but we're not looking at that as much and patting ourselves in the back. We're just excited that there's multiple ways we can score in case we're having a bad day wide, or we're having a bad day up the middle, or one of our forwards gets a knock. To be able to score in multiple ways has been nice.
How solid is that depth, and knowing, as you just mentioned, how young this team is as well? I guess how good is that early on in the season to see just how explosive they can be?
This is where the depth helps you when you have a young team. You're not stretching your starters for 90 minutes a game just to get through a bunch of games. Yes, our bench got a little smaller in Arizona, but at the same time, we are not worn out. The team is fresh. Heck, it's 65 degrees in Lubbock right now, so we're jumping around. And I think that's one of the advantages of being deep, is when you get a lot of people playing time, then you enter the Big 12 as fresh as you can be. Every team's going to hit the wall a little bit. Everybody's going to be challenged. Somebody's going to be on the road somewhere. It's going to be hot as heck in Orlando, wherever. And I didn't even mention TCU, who's a pain in the butt to play as well. So Baylor, all of them. So we know those days are coming, but we feel like we're entering this section of the season fairly fresh.
And as far as the positivity, anything that you can take away from wins and all that as well? You just mentioned how good this offense is, but the defense not allowing more than just 1 goal a game all season so far. So there's definitely a lot of momentum just to carry on just from that.
Yeah, and I think that's where teams should be built from. Nick and I were both forwards, but we build the team from the back. If you don't have great defenders, if you don't have a great goalkeeper, you're not outscoring people 7-6. Somebody's going to come up and hurt you. And I think that we've invested in our back line. We were proud of these guys. They've played their tails off. there's a balance there too, like 2 sophomores and 2 fifth years, and players like Lou coming off the bench, and we've got enough to get it done, and they're playing with a lot of pride. I think Nick's taking over the back line. He and Blair have done a great job with that group, so they're getting better as we go.